Shem Stars. Welcome to class, and today we will continue with our chapter.
We are doing chapter number 4, Culture and Socialization, and today we'll cover following topic: types of culture and different components of culture. Today we will discuss about the types of culture. Man is a social animal, and whatever he gets from society is his social heritage. Scholars have called this social heritage as a culture. Ogburn and Nimkov have divided this social heritage of culture into two parts. One is material culture and second is non-material culture. First we discuss about the material culture. It includes technologies, instrument, material goods, consumer goods, household designs, mode of production, trade, commerce, welfare, and other social activities. For example, car, clothes, television, trains, all are included in material culture. Second, we have non-material culture. The abstract and man-made part of social heritage is called non-material culture. It includes norms, beliefs, values, myths, literature, rituals, forms, and intellectual literary activity. In other words, we can say that non-material culture refers to that part of culture which is abstract and controlled, manage and influence human behavior through thoughts and beliefs. There is a little difference between material and non-material, distinction between non-material and material. One, that material culture is concrete like car, planes, etc. Non-material culture is abstract like customs, tradition, thoughts, etc. Material culture changes rapidly according to the need. Non-material culture is slow in change. Material culture is easy to assess because it is gross. Non-material, it is impossible to assess because it is subtle. Material, it is directly man-made. Non-material, it evolves automatically and slowly. Next we have major components of culture. First component of culture we discuss is that normative dimension. The concept of norms is one of the most important concepts in sociology. Norms can be classified as folkways, mores, customs and laws, etc., which guide individual conduct. Our conduct conform to certain standards that are considered appropriate in the society in which we live. These standard rules and expectations are what we call norms. Without norms, social life would be impossible and there would be no order in society. The normative dimension of culture is of critical importance in promoting and predictability in human interaction. Society itself is a king of order, which is made possible by the presence of norms, and norms are the essence of social organization. So we can say that norms are socially approved guidelines which direct behaviors of members of a society or a social group. In other words, they are the social expectations of proper behavior. Next we have the cognitive dimension. All human beings share in the construction of cognition. They all think, recognize, recall things from the past and project them into real and fantasized future. Actually, cognition is the process that enables humans to comprehend and to relate to their surroundings. Ideas refer to the cognitive dimension of culture, which include beliefs and knowledge. Belief may or may not actually be true, but to their subscriber they portray reality. Some beliefs are held because of habit, tradition, or appeal to an authority, when in fact they are false. Other beliefs that rest on habit, tradition, or an authoritative source are based on sufficient critical observation to be considered true. In literate society, ideas are transcribed in books and documents. But In non-literate societies, ideas are in form of legends and myths which are committed to memory and transmitted orally. Next, we have the material dimension or material aspect of culture. Material culture refer mainly to basic conditions which generally include material item that the member of a society have used, and also to science, technology and instruments of production, transport and communication. Tangible or concrete products of human creation are labeled as material culture. When an archaeologist dig up an ancient city or a subterranean village, he may find certain form of terracotta artifacts, painting, glazewares and coins, etc., all of which may be termed as remnant of the ancient material culture. The norm of the people who once lived there and the ideas they entertain cannot be ascertained through excavation, but the fact that norms and ideas can be inferred to some extent, at least from the material, remains. It indicates that there is a close relation between material and non-material element of culture.
That's all with today's session. If there is any kind of doubt, feel free to ask. Take care.